Alright, this time we're going to be dealing with the Rock Band keyboard, or the keytar as it's often called. I got this when I got Rock Band 3. I got the bundle originally and hadn't played keys in a long time before that and loved it. A lot of fun, but I pretty quickly noticed a couple of problems with this. The main one, I didn't know if it was just because I hadn't played keys in so long, or if I had just gotten to the point where I just sucked all of a sudden. And turns out it wasn't all me. The keyboard is incredibly touchy. Normally, you can reach down if you're in a lull between notes. You try to keep your hand hovering over the keys, just in case another set will come up. And if you even tap this in the slightest little bit, this thing will register. And there goes your multiplier. If you have to shift your hand to the right or the left, you try to get yourself set just to feel where exactly your hands are positioned, you lose your multiplier. I mean, this thing is just crazy touchy. I've even been pressing a key and my pinky will come down and just graze the key beside it, not even pressing it, and I lose my multiplier. Another problem that I've been having with it is the black key notes here, the black keys. These are beveled. They're beveled on the sides, and they're flat across the upper section, and they kind of angle downward, and they have a really glossy finish. What I have happen when I'm trying to hit the key is usually I'll go to press down and my finger will slide off to either side. It's just like these keys aren't really wide enough for full-size fingers to hit or something. I didn't know exactly what the problem was. So finally, after going in, playing some of the key goals, and then quitting and not going back and playing keys again, and then going back, playing a little more, and then giving up again, I decided I was going to go back in and try to complete all of the key goals, and started with this keyboard again, and then decided I was going to check see if I could find something else and if it would improve the situation. So I started looking in the manual to the Midi-Pro, and luckily they have a couple of keyboards listed. They're MIDI controllers for the most part, that are set up and tested to work with the Midi-Pro, and you can pretty much use any keyboard that has a MIDI out port and it'll work fine with the game. You just have to make sure you have this switch set on K for keyboard, and obviously you lose the wireless, and I didn't know if it was going to be a potential problem with the touch strip or not with another keyboard, but I started checking some of the other models and decided to go with this particular keyboard. This is the M-Audio Axiom-25. I managed to get a hold of this for $65 shipped. This was a used keyboard, but the main difference, this is obviously a little bit heavier, but as far as the keys, get both of them together here, or try to, you can tell that they have these, obviously the same number of keys, and they're both basically the same size. So as far as your hand positioning, you're not going to have any problems if you decide to go with another keyboard switching. I decided to go with this model for a couple of reasons. One, the keys are semi-weighted, which means there's a little bit of heft to them when you have to press down a little bit harder, because on a normal like piano, there's a lot of things moving other than just the key, and that's an effect they're trying to simulate with these keys. And immediately, as soon as I hooked this thing up and started playing it, the difference was night and day. I can lay my fingers on these keys to rest my hand, make sure my hand's not going to be shifting left or right in between notes, and it doesn't register. You can depress the key anywhere from a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch, and it doesn't register. So I didn't have any more problems with trying to keep my position. I didn't have any problems with dragging one of the keys beside the one I was trying to hit and causing me to lose my multiplier. And it was a pretty straightforward plug-and-play operation. No setup needed. Just plug the Midi-Pro into the MIDI out port on this, and that was it. No switches had to be flipped or anything else done to it. It was basically plug and play. This keyboard has another slick feature. It doesn't take batteries, but it does have a port to power it with a 12-volt adapter, but you don't have to have an adapter. It'll also power with a Type A USB cord. So just plugging it into a USB port, if you've got like a charger that has a USB output, you can use that to power one of them. This keyboard's a little bit heavier, but outside of that, it has been absolutely incredible, the difference between this and the Keytar setup. Instead of using a touch strip, this one has a pitch bend wheel, and it's spring loaded, and it will fill up the bar really quickly. Just up and down twice, and it'll top the bar out for whatever the maximum level is that you can do, instead of having to constantly be doing this to fill a bar up with the touch strip. The only other thing is this does not have an overdrive switch. You can't set this up to where any of these other switches or knobs can trigger overdrive, but the Midi-Pro does have an overdrive button on it. I had at first thought about maybe running a separate switch, taking this apart, drilling a hole in it, and running wires to a switch that I could mount on the surface of the keyboard, but that's not really necessary. It would just be simpler just to mount the thing on the side and just attach it with some adhesive back Velcro, and then just hit it right here when I go to play. And other than losing the wireless, there would not be any real difference. This keyboard was about $25 more than I think you can get the Keytar setup new for. So the amount of money that you have to invest is very minimal, and the difference is just completely incredible. The black keys, they are completely flat. They're squared off as well. Try to hold this up here so you can see how those are shaped, which you can see the difference, but until you can actually feel it, you won't know exactly how much of a difference it makes. But this thing feels like it was made for a finger to be hitting it, as opposed to the Keytar setup, which feel almost finger repellent. And it's just been absolutely incredible, the difference between them. So now if I screw up, it's me that's screwing up and not the keyboard. If you're having either of those problems with oversensitivity on the keyboard or problems with the black keys, definitely look into going with another model. Down in the description section under this video is a link to the keyboards that they tested and know work with the Midi-Pro. But if you don't want to go with one of those, if you want to get one that's wider, more than 25 keys like this one, there's several other keyboards will be listed in the description, and you can use, like I said, pretty much any keyboard that has a MIDI out port. And don't stick with the Keytar setup if it's causing you a problem. Most of these keyboards have the prices dropped on them quite a bit, because anything gets a few years old like this, and musicians start moving up to the next new thing, and then they want to get rid of the old thing. And these can be picked up for less now than the Keytar setup was when it was new, and it just makes an excellent keyboard all the way around. If you have any questions, just leave a comment, and I'll try to get to it as quick as I can. And obviously you will need a Midi-Pro controller in addition to the keyboard. And that's about it.